What is going on, everybody? Attempt number 2. We're going to recap our 1K experience. We just recently played a 1K at Redcap's Corner in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on August 24th. All 4 of us went, so we're going to talk about what all of us played, how we did, and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it was fun to get out and play competitive again since Gen Con, and there's nothing else on the horizon right now until PQs in October. So I was glad to get this in. There's supposed to be showdowns in September, but who knows? Maybe another store will do like a 1K or something, or these showdowns start coming up fast.
Tyler Shrub?
But yeah, so all 4 of us went. I played Hantu Blue. Brian played Boba ECL. Flock played Cad Bane Tarkentown, and Scott played Palp ECL. The only notable finish was Brian, 4-1, coming in at 4th.
The guy that loses on camera every day? What?
This guy.
Must be a reason for that.
Do you know what this guy did? You know what this guy did? And I meant to tell this story in take 1, and I forgot, dude. This guy.
Serendipity.
This guy. Hey, Jack, you should really play Hantu Blue. You should really do it. And then what do we play round 1?
Whoops.
He wanted me to pick the deck that, I don't want to say hard counters it, because that was like the only game we played. But I think that's very favored. I think
yes,
Boba ECL is very good into.
One would have slaughtered me, and the other, we'll get into.
Oh yeah, I was debating. Kira was my other. But I had like a Han showcase, so I was like, I want to use this at least once. And who knows where he'll be further into the meta, and he's good at least right now.
I did feel pretty bad.
Bro, I had PTSD from Destiny days, dude. I'll never forget. There's one specific tournament. I brought 2 decks, shocker. And one was Qui-Gon Yoda, and the other was Ewoks post-nerf. So they weren't quite the insane Ewoks, but I wanted to try them, and they still tested somewhat decently. And you and Flock the whole way down were like, do something different. Do Qui-Gon Yoda. Do it. Dude, I went like 1-5, and I was miserable the entire time. I was like, last time I listened to these 2 chumps, and here I am. I'm just obviously busting Brian because I've known him for a long time. I'm not serious about.
To be fair, I think that I would still say the same thing going in. Now, knowing what I know.
Yeah, I mean, you're the only
that's
Boba.
Over the week, though. You know, like,
yeah.
And I was the only Boba Green of the event. So, like,
yeah,
the odds of you running into that first round, the guy you drove with.
Well, so round 1 we paired. There was a pairing, and I paired against Scott, and then someone came in late, and then they repaired and added him in, and then I paired into Brian, and Scott repaired into a Sabine.
Serendipity for these things, you know.
But yeah, no, I mean, obviously, I made the choice of the deck. If I'm going to blame anybody for anything, it's fine. But I mean, I went 3-2, like, you know.
Yeah, he still has strong showing.
Came 11th, and I really am curious if the Sabine player I lost to won his last round if I would have got in.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I also don't know. I think some of the players that I played at least the one I played round 2 played another game, I think, and they went 0-3 and dropped. So it was like things like that where it's like you could 0-2 and drop, but they played another, they lost, and you know, it drags down the tiebreaker. But either way, you just got to win your games and not worry about tiebreakers, and I didn't do that. Quite plain and simple. But yeah, we streamed it, so if you're going to go to our YouTube and watch it, none of us featured on it, I think, on our channel.
On ours, no.
But Random Thoughts, Chomp GG, RT Chomp GG, if you want to check him on YouTube and Twitch. He's done some SWU content. He's done some other card games as well. He's done a market watch for SWU and stuff like that. So you can check him out, and you can skip right to round 5 if you want to see our little Bry guy beat up on some Sabine player. Yeah,
I think the round 1 game didn't go through, but he's got round 2 to 5 up on YouTube.
So yeah, our issue was glare. So if you go and watch our video, our round 1 is there, but the whole one side is just like glare. It was Glaregate 2024, as chat deemed it. But in between round 1 and 2, you can even see me. You can get a nice view of my pants and my crotch as I put up a tablecloth over top of the drop-down ceiling light.
For free.
For free, yeah. You didn't have to pay for it. And So I put that up there, so it like was a little canopy over it, blocked out the immediate light over top. And rounds 2 through 5, I thought looked tremendously better, definitely much more watchable. Dude, I gotta say, if you're streaming games, I went and tried to watch your game. It was very hard to watch because the guy just used the 20-sided die, and I can't tell what's on his base.
Yeah.
And even like yours, the game genetics are fine. You definitely can tell. But man,
Mhm.
I just love those laser gaming jumbo tokens. If you're recording games, highly recommend grabbing a
Yeah.
set of those.
100%.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. And he
Yeah.
lost his game. Sorry, my point there was then he lost his round one because the people that got paired in the table two said they were going to play. He walked away, and then they sat next to it and played off off camera. So, nothing was recorded.
Mhm.
Which like is fine if you don't like especially round one, like it's all crapshoot who's table one and table two. Like it's not a big deal, but almost maybe just say that before so he probably so he could have gotten a game recorded. But
Right.
yeah,
Bummer.
yeah. Sorry, go on.
Oh no, no, that's
that was.
oh, that's fine. Yeah,
um, but yeah, Brian and I played round one. He crushed my soul. I wish I remembered like any of my opponent's names. I keep meaning to bring up my notes on my iPhone and write that down every time. But
I just wrote the decks.
I
I
always
didn't write
forget.
the names.
Yeah, I usually remember the decks, and I think I do. Yeah, I do again as well. But the names I always forget. But anyways, any other thoughts before we jump into? We'll start off with Scott and Phlox, and then we'll go into ours.
No, just shout out to Redcaps for hosting, and they always do a great job with events like this, and you can tell that they really care about the Star Wars Unlimited community. That they have a great shop for it. They sell singles. Um, they do a good job.
Yeah, and it helps that the owner Ben is into the game and playing the game as well. So he definitely cares about the community and wanting to build it and stuff like that. So,
I believe he came in on his day off too. I think
yeah,
Scott
he was
came in
he was
on his
off.
day
He
off.
came in to set
Oh,
everything up.
I think Scott was on his day off too.
Well, I wonder if he swapped. Like he definitely got paid. Like he was because he was the only
Yeah,
one upstairs because there was a Magic tournament going on. So they definitely needed somebody upstairs
right.
running that. Maybe since it was two events, maybe Ben was like, "Hey Scott, can you swap days or something and make sure you come in on Saturday?" Or I don't know how that works or anything like
Yeah,
that for them. But yeah,
but shout out to Ben, Scott, Redcaps. Again,
it's the Scott with one T. This is not our Scott.
yeah, not our stuff.
Different Scott. But speaking of our Scott, he ran this list, Palp ECL. This is by Mickey D, who has been running and updating this Palp list since like the beginning of this set. I believe he won a 1K early on with it, and has been making updates and even made like a Palp Green guide as well on YouTube if you're interested in that. But I mean, pretty standard of the 9 ramp cards in this. Some really big stuff: Vader, Walker, Relentless, Devastator. But Scott's day did not go that great. He paired Sabine and then paired into Sabine, and O2 dropped and went to our friend Tommy's one of his kids' birthdays, birthday parties. So he figured it that he's not making if it's 5 rounds and you start O2, it's very 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 very
Not the
unlikely.
climb.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly a little bit more low to the ground. You see the first whole 2 rows of this essentially are all 3 drops or 3 cost things. You got Phase 3, you got the Black Sun Starfighter, you got the Emperor's Royal Guard, you got Yularen, Consortium, stuff to really counter aggro. But, we were even talking about, like, Palp Green compared to Red compared to Blue.
Look,
And I personally just struggle seeing where Green, like, continues to fit into the meta because I just think it loses to Sabine still. And on the top end, normally it's supposed to beat the more mid-rangey control, the soft control, like Kira, but it can't because the way it ends the game is by like Devastator doing damage or OB doing damage, but the Kira can shield their big stuff. So they can shield their Avenger, they can shield their own Relentless, and it's just like how does Palp deal with constant shields?
that's the fun part. You don't.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I mean, if I'm playing Palp and I'm a diehard Palp player and like that's the only thing you want to play, I mean, Blue I still think is going to struggle into it, but I mean, I'd rather get Avenger, Power of the Dark Side, 4-Dom, Gideon, Takedown,
Right.
etc.
Yeah, I love Palp. and I think Palp's an excellent leader. And I played him a lot set one. I brought up to a 1K. The first 1K, the first event I brought Palp, but I like blue better. And I think that mono Palp just feels awkward in the sense that you're trying to put down units to stop your opponent's units, but everything is so low to the ground that not everything trades, and you don't get really good OB targets until lackeys and then Vader, and then by that point it's kind of like you're starting to lose the fight. But I think the blue removal package is just too good to pass up. I think that if you're losing to Sabine, you're supposed to, right? I mean, Palp doesn't come out until late, and Sabine's supposed to
Yeah.
clobber you by round 4, 5, 6, right? But yeah, I think that if you're losing to Sabine and you're losing to control with green, what's the point, right? If you're expected to lose against Sabine but not control.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly should beat up on a lot of other mid-range type. I could see it struggling into like Luke decks because I actually think Luke Green is like in a somewhat decentish spot right now, simply because of the same reason we just mentioned with Shields. But I mean, I think it should have like a decent go into both of the Bobas.
Yeah, I'd be scared. I was scared of seeing Palp Saturday.
Yeah, there's a Pal Blue running. Although I think he would have been fine at that. I played him, and so I could talk about that in my recap. But he had a lot more unit based Pal than what you typically see. But yeah, I mean, this list seems fine, seems standard. If you're losing to aggro, maybe you cut the 2 Devastators, and you do a 3rd Consortium or a 3rd something else. But I mean, my issue sometimes just with the Palp is like you have to play these officers who are all kind of crappy. Like, sure, Scanning Officer, if it hits, is great. Sure, Yularen can heal. Sure, Piet. I mean, Piet's obviously he's not good turn 1.
Matter.
Yeah, I mean, 1/4 does nothing for you, other than give you a potential 3/5 Sentinel.
Right.
But I mean, obviously, Piet's amazing off Vader to then follow up next turn with a Reinforcement Walker. Like, you could straight stabilize against aggro in that sense if you can like prolong it to that turn. And you can because it's kind of a little bit aggro's a little more mid range with how they play some games with Poe and Wrecker and stuff. But yeah, I think it's just I think it's phasing out a little bit. Obviously, just like units and OB and ramp is good, but I think you should just play blue, in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you get better bombs too. Snoke Avenger.
Yeah, Snoke Avenger, Super Laser Blast if you need it,
and they come out earlier. I think the blue just is all around better.
Yeah. Agreed.
So.
All right. We'll talk Flock's list. Like I said, he played Cad Tarkentown. He watched Woo's video, who put something out that week, and he got his soul crushed earlier by me and Brian because he was playing like, what was it, Mando Green?
Yeah.
Don't know what that deck did. And so he lost he lost every game on it. So he went home, and I think this got posted like the next day or something. And yeah, went and built that. So it's a lot of what Woo had built, and I think he had changed some cards. Like I think he brought Fennec in, he brought a No Bargain to main board, but I really don't know what Woo's list is off the top of my head for that.
I don't either. But Flock was like so in love with the No Bargain thing.
I think it's
to the deck.
I mean, I get it's a meta call into the discard, but like it's a terrible card into everything else.
Mostly everything, yeah.
Especially aggro, but maybe you have a decent matchup in that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, just like paying 3 to discard and draw. Just, I mean, me and him have that conversation all the time. He'll just randomly just like force throw me without a force unit to just make me randomly discard, not even my last card. So I mean, if you hit them with their last card and you make them discard, now they're top decking the rest of the game. Yes, I could see that being powerful, but in general, I feel like discarding this isn't really what you want to do against the general sea of things.
Yeah, if this isn't your first time watching us, you might know that Flock operates on a different frequency than the rest of us. most always. So
yeah, I mean, I get what he's going for, but of the idea that maybe the meta was gonna be a lot of Han Blue, because really, like, 2 weeks before that was Han Blue Friday or whatever, when like Unplayable, KTOD, Late Night Gaming, like
Yeah.
there were like 10 different videos on Han Blue. Um, and so I get expecting a lot, but I think there were only two. I think it was like me and one other person, me and Chris.
Mm.
Um,
I'm looking at this now and I'm realizing there's only 6 red cards in the main.
yeah, and that was the same thing with Woo's list. I don't remember
Yeah.
what his other ones were. I mean, 3 were definitely Ruthless Raider because Ruthless Raider is amazing. It's
Yeah.
honestly one of the best cards like into control because it doesn't get hit by takedown and it doesn't get hit by Fell the Dragon.
Right.
And space is generally weak in those decks, like especially Kira. Like obviously it's good once you hit Avenger, but you need to get
Right.
to Avenger first.
Yeah, I've seen Raider close out games, so it's
Yeah,
very good.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if punishing one was the other thing in his list or not, but yeah. I mean, there's really like, what else do you want in
I don't know.
red?
Yeah, I'm not really sure with this deck. I don't have the key into Flockton's mind, so I couldn't tell you one way or the other. But
Well, it's I mean, just like in jet, like I think Wu didn't have that. Anyways, either like I just think that there's nothing that you really care about into it. You just want the 3/4 in space and the 4/6 in space that deals 2 when it's played.
Yeah.
Because there's like some decent aggro-ish units of like Death Star Stormtrooper, but they're not Underworld, right? You don't really care about Fifth Brother or Seven Sister or Force Throw or Force Lightning, anything like that.
right.
You want all the
No one cares
Underworld
about
stuff.
Force Lightning.
Yeah,
I wish more people cared about Force Lightning,
yeah,
but you know. But yeah, no, it's. I mean, he seemed to have fun with it.
yeah,
I think once he got his groove on, I don't think he played any games with it before.
yeah. I think it was like
he
that
played
day.
a couple. Yeah, I think he might have played like a couple the night before, but yeah, I don't know. He had fun with it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's like a fine deck. Like I don't think it's bad by any means.
No, not at all.
But, all right. On to mine. I played Han 2, obviously, and this was my list. What's that?
Can you throw yours in the chat real quick just so I can see?
Oh, yeah. I'll send that to you. And yeah, I mean, I like the list. I don't have like a lot of complaints like about it, and I really don't know how much I would change. I think I might even just drop Carabas from the side. Like I don't really know how much that was doing for me, and I definitely was teched a little bit more towards like control, like with the pillages, and like going heavy into the discard, like with 3K2, 3 pillage, 3 force throw. And I feel like that kind of bit me in the butt a little bit against the Sabine that I did play. Although that game 3 that I lost to Sabine, I just like didn't draw any of my like 5 or higher, like at all. Like I don't know if I saw any Poe, any Obi, any Luke, and like maybe the one that I saw was like Crate. Although I sided out Crate, so I don't think that should have been game 3 anyways. But like maybe I had like a Chewie or something. Like game 1 I played Redemption, whatever, and I won that. But yeah, anyways, what I played against was Brian. Brian O2'd me with Boba ECL. Then I played a Ray Cunning, and I 2-0'd there. Then I played a Old Man Han with 30 HP green base, and I won there. That was, I mean, like just discarding Old Man Han is just, it's so brutal for them. They can't like ramp effectively. They can't play cards effectively, where they are shelling out all for this one big card, and then I hit him with a pillage, and like I'll pay 4. Like if they're having that big explosive turn where they are at 5, go to 6, deploy Han to get to 7, and they're like having that one card where they want to play like a U-wing or something. Like if I have stuff on the board already, like if I have my 2 and my 3 drop still out there, I'll pillage them. No matter, because they're not really interacting with your board early on. They're just trying to go all in on stuff. It was scary at times of some things of how many times I had to deal with tech in one of the games. Because he like played a tech, I killed it. He played another tech, I killed it, and then he sparked to hope it to put it back into his resource row to then play it again. So I was like, bro, how many times? It was like that Simpsons meme where he gets thrown out of the bar and then he appears behind it. So dealing with tech was definitely scary because he was ramping hard. 3 resupplies, 3 spark of hopes, and then just Han's natural ability. It was definitely scary one game because he like did it twice. He did like 2 resupplies real early, like turn 1 resupplied and stuff. But I think just the discard of my deck, like the three K2SOs main board were amazing there in game one of like, yeah, I'll play him early at 3 for 4/2. I'll ram him into something, get like chip damage from Overwhelm, and then I'll make you discard a card. So I was 2-1, 2-0 there, so I'm 2-1. Then I played Sabine and went 1-2. And those games were super close. Probably he could have blown me out even more. He had a few misplays. It was funny. I actually felt bad at the end because he was like, like I kind of misplayed. I made it hard on myself that one game because he like attacked with Poe and like discarded to do damage to my base, but didn't do it to destroy an upgrade because I had a top target on like his A-wing or something, or his red 3. And then my next action was Vigilance, and I healed for 11 or like whatever that was. It didn't matter because I didn't have a way to deal with his
what a
Poe.
bully.
I lost that game anyways because I didn't. That was the game where I couldn't see anything. So it was just like his Poe was just running rampant with a red 3 out there, and it was annoying because all I had in space at one point was like a Conquered Dawn Interceptor. So it was like, he doesn't have to attack, and it's like his red 3 just gives +1 to everything else. And I really have like a way to. It's like I don't want to pay to remove that when I have a Sentinel because it's not going to hit me. Maybe I just keep killing everything else. But anyways. I felt bad at the end because he was like hard on himself. He's like, yeah, I kind of misplayed, made that hard on myself. But then I was like, no, like you made like some good plays. Like he like round 1, he dropped like a Marine or an A-wing, and then I played like Yoda early because I think that was like my only play, and then he ECL'd a Fleet Lieutenant to kill it and attack with 5 to base on the A-wing. And I was like, yeah, no, I mean that was a good play, and I was like. Trying to say like, no, you made some good decisions, but in the awkwardness that I can be at times, I probably made it seem like I was like coaching him or like at something. I was like, didn't mean to do that at all. Just saying like, hey man, like don't be hard on yourself. Like you definitely made some good plays in there. Yeah, you made it harder on yourself at one point, but you were so far ahead that it didn't really matter too much anyways. And then what did I play last round? Oh, I played the Palp Blue, and I won that game to finish out 3-2. I just like ran him over. The discards were insane. Like both times I hit discards were like I hit like a Vader and OB, something like crazy like that. Game 1, he just like had to keep dealing with bigger things so he could never kill my cannon. So I like milled him out essentially. Like I ended up winning on damage anyways, but it got to the point where he like Vadered at towards the end of the game and he couldn't even search all 10. Like he had to search 8 or something like that. And that's 4 attack every time. Like Kanan was chipping away at him. And then you saw the game 3 where like, dude, I had just like insane curve with discard too. Like,
I watched all your games really. I played.
For you were done in like 5 seconds and everything.
Yeah, yeah, I played quick.
Yeah, that game I went like A-wing into like Cassian into K2 into Poe into like Obi-Wan into Luke. Into Chewie, into Crate Dragon. Like, I just like, and I put enough pressure on early where he had to like take my Obi-Wan. And I wanted him to do that, which I was fine. And it does feel bad because then it buffs, what's his face? Palpatine when he dies. But I was like, I'd rather he take Obi-Wan because I can deal with that than taking my Crate Dragon is essentially what I was trying to get. I boarded in that 3rd Crate Dragon against him. And I was like, if I can just get a way to like, put pressure on him to make him take something that he doesn't want to take, I'll be okay. Like I even think I got him to take a Luke, who I was then able to follow up with Chewbacca to kill it. You know what I mean? Like the plays like that was pretty nice. Chewie definitely able to recover some Palp steals was pretty nice.
I like the deck a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, discard like tilting people is very fun. Not gonna lie. Not gonna like because generally, yeah, how it'll go is if you all like play the same amount of cards, but then you play K2 at 3 and discard them, and if they play like 1 extra card, like if they play 2 cards like 1 turn, then you could hit them with Pillage at 4 and get those cards out of there. But the issue is if like you don't hit them for their last one, it can be pretty rough. Of like you paid to discard them and didn't like think about our one game. Like I got rid of OB and the 7th Fleet Defender, which like cool. But then the 3rd card in your hand was a Fet's Fire Spray, so like it really didn't matter because you already had a decent board, and then next turn you followed up with a Fire Spray, and I'm like way behind because I didn't play a 4 drop or 5 drop. B, I discarded you, and now my board didn't have anything.
Yeah,
So that's
it
weird. But
seems
I mean, it's a good deck.
it's
I
like
like it.
Rivals Fall almost.
What's up?
It's kind of like the same situation as Rivals Fall for me, where like you do get rid of a threat or cards out of hand, but then that's your turn, right? And then they
Yeah.
still have the resources to build their board back up,
Yeah.
build back better playing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely if
every,
you're leaning to play aggro a little bit, this discard type deck, just really work on getting those timings of discarding down. I think that's like the biggest thing that I've seen people against me do a lot as well. And like for me, I'm always trying to set up to where I can like K2, make them discard, and then like the turn after pillage to then dump their last two or something like that.
right.
Like that's the only game I beat you, I think, in our like playtesting. But that actually I think that was
Yeah,
on Mono Boba though.
it was a mono boba, and you absolutely neutered my flip turn,
Well, that's
right?
what.
You
Yeah, it
got
was
rid
your
of the
flip
last two cards
turn.
in
You
my
had
hand,
two
and I had
cards, and I was
nothing
like,
to do.
pillage.
I spent zero resources
Yeah.
at all the whole boba flip turn,
The turn where you're supposed
and
to get
that's
8 resources and stuff out, you
yeah,
got 0.
yeah, and it does work. It does work. You just have to really time it and hope it, there's nothing else going on there that can your opponent can fall back on.
Yeah, most definitely. And then for mine, last bit of mine, I want to shout out Matty K2D. Him and I just talked through it. He'd been playing this deck a lot. He was one of the ones who did a video on it as well. So just being able to talk with him about this list was good. And that's a segue into yours essentially.
And I'm gonna shout out the Kashyyyk Train of Dominance for Bobby Sapphire's list, which I took to this. I found on the Patreon. If you're not sub to their Patreon, you're missing out. There's some really cool stuff in there, some really great decks, some good information, and some really cool people. So I took Bobby's 60, Bobby Sapphire's 60, and uh, went 4-1. Um, there's some really cool stuff in here that I probably wouldn't have chosen. Um, but I had a good day. I figured that the field would probably be a lot of aggro, a lot of the flavor of the week on blue, um, which I think this has a decent matchup into. I was just worried about control going into this, and I don't think there's a lot of control. There wasn't a lot of control there on
Yeah, there
Saturday.
really
There was like
wasn't.
one Kira,
There's like one Palp and one
Palpatine,
Kira.
yeah, and that's about it. So, I chose smart for the day. I've really been enjoying Boba Green, and I wasn't really about it, except one, but I pulled showcase, and now I feel obligated to play.
The best thing for
So,
your competitive career was pulling a Boba
yeah,
showcase.
because I've gone back and forth on what I wanted to bring to this, and it
Oh
was
yeah.
Out Blue, and it
Well,
was Ray Tarkentown.
yeah. I was like, please, anything
And
but
Jack was
Ray
like, "You
Tarkentown.
cannot bring Ray Tarkentown," and I was like, "You know what? Fair, good point." I left that box at home. What I do, just like Jack, is I usually bring two decks, and I decide there. But this time I made both decks, and I left one home. So I definitely went with Boba Green. Um, and I think that that was the right call, obviously. But I'll go into my day, my matchups. So as you heard already, Jack was my round one. There's a great picture I took of him and sent to our Discord and said friendly fire.
Yeah, Alan
Um,
was like, "Is he texting his wife, or is his wife asking him to pick up milk?" Because I had my phone in my hand.
yeah.
She
So
was like,
against
"Actually, we do."
actually, yeah, we do need milk. But against the Han Blue, I didn't have too hard of a time. Because the pile was really not that good.
True.
Really terrible. No, I everything kind of fell into place. And with Boba, like this deck really plays very cleanly into, you can combo things into each other very easily. But the biggest play of the day, I don't think I did. Did I do this to you? I don't remember. But the biggest play of the day for me that I kept doing and kept doing was Merc Gunship ECL into like an A-wing into, stand one, and then Greedo was like my play of the day. Pretty much I did like almost every
Hmm.
round one.
No,
Um,
not against me.
or if I didn't have it turn one, I had a seventh fleet and I pass or I claim and then do it that way too. So that the damage doesn't stack up. But everything kind of fell into place. The Merc Gunship Greedo and then into like a Boba seventh fleet or super laser. And then if I pull Forlom and Zuckuss in my opening hand, I was foaming at the mouth. Right, that combo is disgusting because a lot of people, once you have your board built up, don't really pay attention to Forlom, and then if Zuckuss comes down afterwards as a 7/7 with ambush and saboteur. I'm into the flock way of saying it, but it's deadly. It really is. It's super good, and then it's hard to take out the rest of the board from that point.
That was a
Your
big
board.
misplay for me because there was one point where I think there was 2 damage on Forlom, but then you also had a fully healthy
Boba.
Boba, and I think
Hmm.
I had like a
Yeah, what did you kill that with? What has 5? Is it Poe?
no, no, because I had to make an opening, one of them to kill one of them.
Oh,
So I
that's right.
think I probably had a 3 attack. I probably had like Cassian out there, is my
That sounds
guess.
right. Yeah.
Uh, and I was worried about how much value Boba, like I tunneled on Boba's ability,
Hmm.
because I was like, if I, yeah, I was just worried about you getting just free kills off my stuff. So I ended up making an opening Boba and then attacking and killing him. And then literally the next turn you
Zuckuss
played
then
Zuckuss
took
and
out.
Forlom was still out. I was like, dude, I really should just make an opening in that. And then if you passed because you wanted me to attack with Cassian after that, then I should
Mhm.
just claim and just be fine. Then we're moving on to the next round.
I
So
feel
I
like
think
I
that was a
Zuckussed
misplay
into
by
your
me
Han
of just
too.
that. What's that?
I think I Zuckussed into your Han too. I might.
I don't
I don't
remember.
remember what I
Yeah.
Zuckussed. But yeah, and if it wasn't a turn 1 ECL into the A wing, even an ECL Zuckuss for 6/6 is
Yeah.
pretty excellent.
And
Um,
it's nice that the ECL kind of got freed up a little bit. Like set one, you could use round one ECL, and you could ECL like super laser tech in a tight situation or like a valuable situation. But like if you didn't use it on Steadfast Battalion, it felt like kind of a waste. Where it's like this deck, yeah. So like you
yeah,
have your mercenary gunship with 1 drop. Like there's definitely lines where it's good in the deck. But also, if
right.
you just save it for Zuckuss, like that's fine too, because then like Maul just has ambush overwhelm and stuff like that. Like Forlom naturally has ambush and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I mean the lines of this deck are so perfectly clear. Mike did an excellent job on crafting this to perfection. Because really the line plays itself, right? So you 2-drop, 1-drop, 3-drop into a 4-lom Zuckuss. That's Maul, and that's not even including the Boa Flip turn, right? Like plays itself. Anyway, I could go on for hours about how great this deck is. Um, so that was round 1. Felt a little bad, felt a little bad about bruising Jack's ego,
you should.
but I got over it pretty quick. So so round 2, I played into a Boba Yellow, which I had assumed was going to be a decent matchup for me because at least in set 1, that's how it went. Green kind of overshadowed Yellow in that sense, but I think with the addition of all the set 2 cards that made that deck a little more potent. I mean, obviously it's one of the best decks in the format. Boba in general is one of the best decks in the format, but access to Cunning, access to Bodhi, access to Cantina Bouncer, really cleared up my board pretty nicely. I couldn't really get an angle around. The second game wasn't even close. Not even remotely. Like he just bowled me over, and I couldn't get anything going. His units just kind of cleared out mine. And if they didn't clear out mine, they were bounced, and he could just swing at the base freely. I just couldn't catch up. So I think that's a matchup I'd have to go back and look at. But I mean, opponent was well played. I think he was also in the top 8. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Um,
he could have been close to undefeated. I watched his loss. That was the triple
yes,
dark raid player. Right?
yes, he whiffed on a triple dark raid, and he needed it. I mean, he was playing a Han blue, a Han 2 blue, and I think
No, he was playing against Han Green, Han 2 Green, because he
Han
dropped the
2
Bright
green.
Hopes and the Sundari Peacekeepers and
Oh,
stuff like
that's
that.
right, that's right. Yeah, I just remember the Great Dragon. I don't remember what the other cards were
Yeah, oh
played,
yeah,
but he
yeah,
did drop a Great Dragon, and he had like a million resources. They were playing the bitter end. That was a rough loss for him. But yeah, lost to him. He's a pretty good player. No qualms about that. And then the round 3, I played against the Kylo Cunning. That deck is strong. Um, if I didn't have the answers with ECL to take out his plays, I would be and obviously make a board state. I would be in trouble. But his was all space actually. it was mostly space, and I had a hard time hitting back. I did get a couple fortunate super laser, not super laser blast, OBs to help me clear out some stuff over there. I did have to adjust in round two. I sighted in some Star Vipers to make sure that I could ECL into his other things, so that I didn't just have spacers and seventh fleets and the like. But that was a tough one. I almost lost that one both times. He played really well. He got me up to near lethal, but I felt a little bad. Not too bad. I won, but I felt kind of bad that the luck I had was my last hand was um, no good to me dead, a surprise strike, and a surprise strike. And I had stuff on the board. I had a Zuckus on the board already too. So like I think I smacked with Mercenary Gunship into base. I smacked with Boba unit with surprise strike for. I'm pretty sure I did like 20 damage in a turn. Three with gunship,
That's 9.
three with gunship,
That's 18.
six with Boba, six with Greedo, and then four with Boba leader. So what is that? 3, 6. I'm doing the flock end.
It's 19. Right?
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. So I mean, there's nothing he could do about that, and he kind of ignored my units because he was lane dodging me the entire time. But he was really big on buffing the units with Kylo, and I just happened to have some lucky no good to me dead there as well. So to stop him from popping off, so he lost a card, and he didn't get to swing for the +2. So that was pretty important there to make sure that the no good to me deads were in hand at the time. So that was that one, and then the next one I played against Alea Red, and that one also kind of fell into each other pretty quickly because the ECL Mercenary Gunship into the A-Wing really took his plan out pretty quick. And this one, he watches our podcast. He told us how cool we are, which is, thanks. Appreciate that.
You must not know many people. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're watching us, no, but he played well. He just couldn't get anything going with his draws. In round he conceded round 3 on the first game. Was like I know this fine. Let's go on to the next one. And I can see he drew game 2, and he was like, man. So I think he just got unlucky with the draws, and I was able to kind of clean it up from there. But good opponent. And then the last one is on stream on Random Thoughts, so you can go and check that out if you'd like. I played into a Sabine Green, which I was excited to see because I expected the whole day to be Sabine, and I did this last time at Gen Con where I was like, I'm playing Boba Green because I want to nuke all the Sabines, and then I see none. I saw one Sabine the whole day. So again, I saw one Sabine here. The same ECL play paid off huge. And again, there wasn't too much you could do about it. I had some really well-timed waylays where he did like wrecker and kill something, and then I just kind of did my thing. He was out of resources, and I waited. So there's not much you can do there. Same thing about Poe. And he used his ECL for something else. I think after I did my ECL game 1, he went and used his ECL to take out my ECL target. And he's like, I don't know if this is going to help me, but we're going to give it a shot. So his ECL wasn't there for Poe Wrecker, which I think helped me a ton.
Yeah.
I think he might have ECL'd Wrecker once.
Did he have timely interventions in his deck?
I don't remember. I want to say he did. I think he timely'd something. But I can't remember what it is. I got to go back and look at the video.
Yeah.
The auto still there. But yeah, so I ended up with 4-1. I felt pretty good about the day. Felt pretty good about the deck choice. Again, shout out to Bobby Sapphire for making a rocking deck because this thing is really good. Ended up 4th. So better than I thought I was going to do on the day, and better than I've done in most of these tournaments so far. So there's a first time for everything, and maybe next time I can close it out, bring it home. Gotta hone my reps. So.
Hey man, I think if they play that top cut out, we would almost need to see the bracket. But if like Kira's on the opposite side as you,
They got to get there first, you know.
What's gonna beat you?
I don't know.
I know you were nervous about that boss, but I think you were nervous because you've probably played in a
Matchup
boss
I hadn't
5 times. Yep.
Yeah, it's a matchup I hadn't played. I lost to Gen Con to Mike on that deck, actually.
Oh, Mike Rude. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no,
yeah.
I think like green specifically like is better into
No,
that.
I
Like I
lost
think
so
green
bad.
Boba gets more points into aggro and into mid
Yeah,
range, but loses more points into control compared to yellow.
yeah.
And so I think you
Uh,
just do like better potentially.
no, it's funny. I was talking to random thoughts who I was going to play. He was fifth, and I was fourth, so we were doing matched up
Both of
together.
you were nervous for the
And we were both
matchup.
like, "I think it's a better matchup for you, and I think it's a better matchup for you." And they're like, "Well, we'll never know, I guess," because we ended up splitting. But um,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I'm thrilled about how I played, and I think I actually played very cleanly, as opposed to like the days where, oh, oops, I left a card in there that I shouldn't have, and I got decked, or I decked myself
We did.
round
That's why
one.
we played a game the night before.
Yeah,
We all included the card Carabast in our deck, and we all played
yeah,
played games.
out of aspect.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I'm happy about how I did. And I made sure the night before that I had the right cards in the deck. I didn't bring anything that wasn't supposed to be there. I didn't swap. I didn't waver like I usually do. So I think that goes to show you that if you're comfortable with the deck, you play it more than once before an event, and
I think it
you
also
know,
helps that the list was more like given to you rather than
yeah,
like if you think
I'm
about
making it myself.
like when you played Palp Blues like and I'm not that's not knock. I like
No, it's a knock. It's
if
fine.
no if sometimes if I could take like what's the trade? You can craft interesting decks but not make cut, or you could just take somebody else's list and make cut. I would just take somebody else's list and
Take
make
a
cut.
second every day.
I'm not.
I,
I'm trust me. I'm not somebody who shames anybody
no,
for doing
no,
that
and
stuff.
if that's what you do and that's what works, then
But it just
what
sometimes
what
it
is
takes out that burden of like
what does Cypher say in Valorant? If you're not a good aim today, you
try again tomorrow.
try again tomorrow, or you'll be a better use somewhere else. I don't know what the line is, but
Yeah,
everyone has their strengths,
yeah,
and you should play to them, and don't shy away from what
yeah.
makes you successful. Not that I'm uber successful all the time. You've seen me on gameplays getting my booty kicked every day.
No.
Um,
Well,
but
like we
you
said,
know,
you played with Finn a bunch, which is like wearing ankle weights. So when you finally
yeah,
did run with Boba,
I'm Rock Lee,
you sprinted.
Goku.
Yeah.
Yeah, it I don't know.
I
It's
think mid range too, like Boba helps too, in that it's like I think there's a lot of room in the 60 to express and have creative things, but like
yeah.
the like especially if you're running Forlom and Zuckus, like
Mhm.
you're running ramp, you're running those early drops, you're running Boba unit, fire spray. You got to pick between Maul and Vader, but you run OB, you run Waylay. So it's like there are some things that it doesn't build itself, but there's some things that are like key into it.
Right.
And you're maybe like teching for meta in a slight way, or we're certain
Right.
matchups. Whereas like when you were playing Palp before, it's like there is no just general good 60 in control. You have to adapt to what you think your opponent's going to do, and the cards that you play need to be in reaction to what your opponent's doing. Whereas like Boba
Yeah.
UCL, you can kind of just set the tempo.
100%. Yeah, I mean, and this I did have to play differently every time too.
Hmm?
Against I played a lot of quasi aggro or aggro matches. I don't think I really played anything that was too.
What? I mean,
I mean,
yeah, you did. I mean, me, I
so
was
yeah,
like the
you
only
were
one that was like semi, like not like super control. I'm just kind of like discard and play big stuff.
right.
But then yeah, I mean, you played Kylo, Leia, Boba Yellow, and Sabine. You played 4 aggro decks.
Yep. So I mean, it's also good to know what you're. I mean, I made an educated guess on what the meta would be, or what would be on the field, right? I mean, I think that helps too.
Yeah.
Um, and if you are comfortable with playing a deck that counters those things, then hooray, very good. Um, but no, it was great. It was a great day. I had a ton of fun with it, and I was in the car before we even got to the event. I think I'm gonna run Boba Green like through planetaries. I just really like the deck,
Yeah.
and that's not something I do. Stick with the deck and play a deck for more than one event one day, but that thing's gonna stay built.
Yeah.
A reason not to.
It's gonna be hard with this lull. Like
Well, we just talked about some set 3 cards, and I'm already like chomping at the bit.
Yeah, and it just like this. Nothing's announced for September. It's
Right.
September in like less than a week.
Yep.
It just has me like not
I
super
would
excited right now.
like a showdown.
That's what I mean. Like, there's not even like there's just nothing on the calendar. There's one PQ in October, and then 2 weeks later, set three, or 3 weeks later, set three comes out. So it's just like there's nothing, and then within 3 weeks, I have much like,
Yeah.
which is
And I also
it's a
like
little frustrating.
I don't even like the prizes necessarily for the showdowns. I just want to play in a more competitive
Oh
setting.
yeah, yeah. I just go. I don't care. But what is it? The enticing reward,
Unrefusable
unrefusable
offer
offer.
or
Yeah,
something, and
yeah.
then Lady
I keep
Toxin.
mixing up those two names or those
Yeah,
two. They're
it's the
both
same thing.
yellow neutral ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the worst one. The
Yes, it
uh,
is. Really is.
enticing reward is good.
Yeah,
Um,
this score is good.
but yeah. So, yeah, no, I mean, I think it's good. I think it definitely the question becomes how much is Kira in your meta. I
Yeah.
think you struggle in that a little bit, but dude, you might
A
honestly we
lot.
would need to run it more. But there's a chance you have a better game into that than Cunning Boba. Simply because you can follow
Yeah.
up, like, not only do you have Fire Spray, but you have a big booty in Zuckuss, which, I mean, they can run too, but they typically haven't.
Yeah.
You have Zuckuss and Maul, and you have Ramp, and you have OB. Like,
I
things
don't
that
think I'm
matter a
ever
lot
playing this
more.
list without them at this point. I can't see myself playing without Forlom and Zuckus in this list. They're just such superstars.
Yeah.
Huge.
Only two. You going to go to 3 LOMs, dude?
I don't know. I mean, so Relentless Pursuit is one of those cards that I think Mike really likes and is a flavor add. It's spicy. Then it does. I like that it works across arenas too, but the the opportune timing for that to happen instead of playing a unit or something like didn't happen too much on Saturday. And again, I'm not haven't run this deck 100 times. Like I'm sure it's there for a reason. I'm sure it's excellent, but I personally didn't run it. But if I was gonna go to 3 4 LOMs, I'd probably start there. Um,
Yeah, it's hard because I feel like it's such, like, it definitely can gunk up your hand,
could be money.
but it could be an insane,
Yeah,
like if you ECL, like even if you don't have 4 LOM out, you ECL Zuckuss or you play Syndicate Lackeys like at 5, stand 1 because you probably killed something with 5 and 6 attack,
yeah,
and then you deploy Boba attack, and then you're now at 3, and you capture something with Boba, and now Boba's a 4/7 shielded leader. Like,
yeah.
that's a lot to deal with.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and it goes on. It goes on any of them. I mean, Greedo, Boba Fett, Forlom, Zuckuss, they're all shielded after that. You know,
I mean,
you're not gonna put it
what
on Greedo.
I was gonna say, what do you capture in this
You're not gonna
one?
put it on, but I'm saying you could. You could. You could. But even still,
I mean, yeah, Boba and
it's an
Zuckuss
interesting
are
card.
just the good ones because they're 5.
But I mean, you could even put it on like Maul, just to have
Just to
the
capture something.
value. Yeah, I mean, it takes it off for a turn, and when you get it back, it's still exhausted, right? It saves you
I
the
don't know.
damage that turn.
That's scary though, because you
That
ambush
is
him
a
in. He probably
that
took
is a
4 to
Hail
5
Mary.
damage.
It's a Hail Mary for sure.
Yeah.
I'm not advising you should, but I'm saying you could do that. But like I said, that's where I would start because I mean, like I said, it's such a weird. It could gum up your hand or it could be money. I
Yeah.
don't know, but Warlum did help me out a ton, and I would like having him in my hand consistently more. Um, there was one game in the Boba Yellow where I pulled all 3 Zuckuses, and that sucked.
Hmm.
Because 2 of them hit the resources because I had no other choice.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just variance. That's just the way that card games go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, is a 25 person like meta, but I mean, I think things are generally still feeling pretty wide open. I mean, Kira, Sabine, like Hantu, um,
I do think that
Boba.
Sabine's a boogeyman of the format, though. I think
Maybe, dude.
people are making decisions based off Sabine entirely. I think I did. I mean, aggro in general scares me. So like the Kylo matchup scared me. Kylo's also very, very good. Like Kylo could be one of the four horsemen as well, but I mean Sabine is just
He
so
just dies to
so
interaction.
good. Yeah.
Well, they were. I don't know. I don't love the triple dark raid Kylo build. I'm curious. The
I
5.0 was Kylo Cunning. It wasn't the one that you played, obviously.
yeah. I matched him in round one and then got repaired.
Hmm.
So I too could have had a very different day.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
I don't know.
yeah. I mean, I almost like if you're gonna make me pick one best deck, I think it probably is Kira. Like I
Really?
think blue green villain is just too good, and it can shave its deck in any way to go towards whatever the meta might be.
Sure. Um
Which means
I'm
obviously still amazing. I'm not trying.
I'm surprised I haven't touched that deck. Because Blue Green Villain is like my jam. I love Blue Green Villain. I like Blue Green Palp, but
Nobody in our group
oh,
plays the
it's
same
all
deck, and
control.
I've been playing Kira since day one. That's
Yeah.
probably it.
Yeah. That's probably it.
And also, yeah, if you played Palp, you just get run over by Sabine.
Mm-hmm.
That's how
Yeah.
prevalent she
I
is.
put that down, but I really was excited to play Snoke this set, and still haven't done so.
Still haven't, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, almost since we're like talking just kind of meta stuff too, I almost wanted to just touch on some of recapping some of the tournaments that happened like that same weekend. Um, Chicago top 8 was so Sabine won. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if they played it out. But this is what Garbage Rollers has for their stuff. So shout out to Garbage Rollers too for compiling that. Good job, Tyler. You're the more useful Tyler. Proud of you. Green
Little heart.
Sabine was 1, Boba Yellow 2, Bosk ECL, Hantu Blue, Kira ECL, Boba Green, Hantu Blue, Ray Red was their top 8. Minneapolis had a winner showcase tournament for 29 people. Top 8 was 2 Kiras, 3 Sabines, 1 Lando Tarkentown. Love that. 1 Krennic ECL, 1 Palp ECL.
Lando.
I don't think Lando's terrible. You just play Ray double vigilance into me when I bust. next up, is one in North Carolina, and top 8. Who this was definitely a split, a 1K. It was 4 Hantu Blues, 1 Kira, 1 Vader Green, 1 Bo-Katan Red, 1 Boss Green. And then the UK had a 1. What was that?
I'm sorry. Did you say Bo-Katan and Vader?
Yeah, Vader Green
Wow.
and Bo-Katan Red. Pretty sure the Bo-Katan one was on Reddit. If you're interested in that, maybe scroll to the Star Wars Unlimited subreddit and look for it a little.
Bo-Katan
Was
Red?
it? Was it the one you sent me?
Bo-Katan Red though?
Yeah. Is that what you
Oh,
sent me?
I
Wasn't
did
that
send you that
Tarkentown?
one. Yeah. I forgot. I forgot already. I sent you that. Well, I had a night in between where
Yeah.
I might have forgotten.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's wild. On
Uh,
a boat.
and then last one to touch on is in Leicester, UK. There's a 95 player event that happened. They played 7 rounds, best of 3, no top cut. First place was Kira ECL, the only undefeated. Then there was the Sabine ECL, Han 2 ECL, Bosk ECL, Han 1 Command, Boba Cunning, Sabine ECL, Boba Yellow. ECL.
I was gonna say I'm gonna rescind my comment and say the ECL is the boogeyman of the four.
Yeah, dude, I still think I think the start of the set, I think most people like drifted away from it a little bit to like
Too good.
try new things. And I do still think there is arguments for 30-point green base. Like, I mean, Mike and Maddie like ran that 30 HP the third day of Gen Con and both got top 16 with it. Like, there's definitely merits for it, but ECL is just insane. And it's obviously it's stapled to Sabine. Like, Sabine's not going to run the 30 HP. And that was 2 of the lists. And Bosk, yeah, I mean, I don't really know if there's a reason for Bosk ever to not run ECL if you're going green. I mean, I guess if you go like the crazy ramp, but still, I don't know.
Yeah, I think we should look into basketball more.
Bosk's good.
Our group, yeah, I don't think we've really.
You told me that you were going to be the boss guy, and then you never.
Yeah, I know. I even grabbed a our buddy Bird pulled one and was like, I know you want this.
Oh yeah,
So
you have the showcase of him.
I have it. Yeah, I have it right here. I mean, can't really see because of the glare, but yeah, I mean, I think that maybe after this, I start looking into boss.
Hell, hit up Mike, Rebel Spy. Be like, yo,
Oh yeah.
I know I stomped you, but what did you play? Did you beat him? I actually don't even remember.
No. He cleaned me out. He
Hey,
cleaned
you
me out.
stomped me. What was your list?
I yeah. I think the only fun thing he would remember from that game is that I put Boba's armor on Greedo to stop him from claiming a bounty. We had a good laugh about that. Buff Greedo isn't real. Buff Greedo can't hurt you. That was it. That game was terrible. I lost so hard.
That doesn't seem worth it.
It was my only choice. I was
Cool.
going to spend 0 resources that turn.
Oh, okay. All right. Build a better
And he
deck.
had nothing on the field. I already swung with Greedo, so I put it on there because he put a price on my head.
That's so funny.
So I stalled him a turn. You know.
That's so funny. Hey, gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, you know.
Gotta, listen, it wasn't my best choice of my only choice.
But all right, yeah. So we're just about at an hour. So that recaps our 1K and the stuff we kind of talked about. I think is just like the pillars, the gauntlet, right? If you had to make a gauntlet, gosh, if only 4 decks. If you could make a gauntlet and you only could do 4 decks, I think I do Sabine.
Yep.
Kira.
Yep.
I think you do Hantu. Not
Hantu and Boba.
Hantu blue, and then yeah, probably one of the Bobas. I mean, in regards to popularity,
Yellow.
probably yellow.
Yellow. They're gonna see more yellow.
But man, I mean, if Hantu blue is dominating your meta, give Boba ECL a look. Like I think that that was really hard for me to deal with, of like just anything. And then like
really good.
You could like I don't know how set or 100% this like sideboard was, but against these discard decks, if you could side in Palp's Return. Like I know the Emperor's Legion was in there.
Yeah, I'd probably go Palp's Return over Emperor's Legion. The only cards I used in the sideboard were Star Viper and McClunky.
Dude, McClunky counters Bosk. Wait, we should have mentioned that. That would have been great for you.
Yeah, it would have.
That probably would have swung the matchup right there.
Maybe I should have split. No,
Living with regret.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
My Palp's Return, those discards, dude, hitting. Like, even if you go down and you hit Zuckuss, like, it's still 6/6, but obviously hitting Fire Spray and Mauls can be really good.
Yeah, because my Fire Spray was always in the trash. That ship did not last long.
Well, yeah, you have to kill it.
Now,
like,
yeah.
that thing turns out damage. Everybody's going to be gunning for it right away. So it's like, yeah, imagine playing a Fire Spray. You hit with it that turn. Even if it dies first action next turn, you could maybe... Like, they probably spent all their resources to kill it.
Yeah.
Then you play that. Play it again.
But I feel like Boba is a mostly, like, predictable deck, too. Like, there is some counterplay there where, like, if I go up to 6, I wonder what I'm playing, If I go up to 7, what I'm playing.
It's hard, though, because, I mean, even going into the 6 resource turn, Boba probably just had their blowout turn. And so it's like, yeah, a Fire Spray's coming at 6, but they might still have Boba and Zuckuss on the board.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like...
And I usually did.
But that's why, like, think about those turns where it's like, obviously they're playing stuff too. It's an interactive game, but like, if you ECL Zuckuss, stand 1, attack with Boba, play Boba, or 7 Fleet Defender, and it's like those are your 3 units on the board.
Mm-hmm.
You got a lot. That was my issue. I was like, how do I deal with all this?
There's a ton to deal with. Yeah, I mean, it's constant. You're constantly playing stuff.
Yep.
Constantly dropping stuff on the board, and with the resetting of resources, you're constantly playing more stuff. I mean, it's crazy. This leader,
yeah,
a little busted.
Yeah, definitely try it out. Recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, I mean, even if it's not just Hantu, even if you're just seeing a lot of mid range and aggro, give it a whirl. But Kira, definitely think about it. Maybe you bring Boba's armor into the side or something like that. But I don't even know how much that saves you. Like, I don't even know if that's like the thing that
it doesn't, because the damage is already done. Really,
that's what I mean. I think you're gonna lose to that soft control and hard control, and there's just nothing you can do about it.
Just have to play without a leader in that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you probably could. I mean, you probably maybe just force it out of certain things. Like at some point,
I'd probably definitely take my 4 and just move on.
Yeah. I mean, like if like obviously you don't want to deploy him into like an OB Kira, but like,
right?
Yeah, I don't know. There's definitely something like if you can stand and their whole turn is like just smacking Kira into your Boba, but you stood like you played a 5-drop and stood 3 and played a 3-drop. Like you'd be all right.
Yeah, definitely.
But all right,
Yeah.
yeah, we're at an hour. We'll wrap it up. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Best of luck to anybody who's playing in any upcoming 1Ks. Store Showdown should be happening, and PQs are not far away. Any other final thoughts?
Again, shout out to the Kashyyyk Train of Dominance for being awesome, an awesome resource to the community and pumping out some awesome competitive stuff and just being cool dudes in general. So, and shout out to Redcaps.
Second did. Deuces, y'all. We'll catch you next time.